Hello there folks, it's me RGB from RGB TV, and this is going to be a second video in just 2 days, because yet again, I am bored, which means that I'm going to make a video. This time around is going to be 3 versus 3 of Team Dead. We've got Dead K, we have Dead GS, and we have Dead S. A little bit confusing where it's all just single or double letters at the end of their names, but we're just gonna call them Team Dead. Then we have the team that is not dead. We have Doromi, one of the very best players on the world, in the world. Both terms are correct, I guess. A former professional player, became one of the very best, fastest team players in the world. Then we have 311, no clue who this guy is, but if he's playing with Doromi and Freyja against Team Dead, then he has to be very, very good. That goes without saying. Then we got Freyja, who used to be one of the best hunters players in the world, and then became one of the best fastest players in the world. He primarily plays team games, but he's also very good at 1 versus 1. And Doromi also primarily plays team games, but he also can play 1 versus 1, just doesn't do it that much. He really just loves playing team games, I guess. That's the way to go about it. He loves playing team games. So we have Protoss, Zerg, mirror matchup. 2 Zergs, 4 Protoss. We have a interesting building placement there from Deadass. I assume this is to help him defend, so he can build a cannon here. It's kind of like a wall of sorts. Triple gateway there from the ROM. We have a very fast pull from both of the Zergs, which is very standard. You go for pull, then you go for the gas, and then you go for the hatchery. Or in this case, you go for the hatchery before the gas, because you want to get a 3rd hatchery, because you're on a corner spawn location. Whereas on the middle spawn location, the Zergs tend to go for that faster gas, because they get pull, gas, hatchery. And that is purely because on a corner spawn location there's a little bit more distance, so you're less exposed to risk by doing this. On the middle spawn location, the traveling distance to your base is a little bit shorter, so yeah, you are exposed to more risk. So it is harder to go for that hatchery before the gas. So they both get their speed on their pools for the Zerglings. Zerglings are out there for 311, and Zerglings are out there for GS. More Zerglings on the way there. They are going to stay on very low drone, or yeah, they're going to stay on a very low drone count. Although 311 built an extra 2 drones, as opposed to GS, who's on 8. So 8 versus 10. Wonder if that's going to pay off for 311. The other players are all just going for a triple gateway into Forge, Gas, Cybercore, Pylons, Cannon there to protect their base. There's a little bit of dancing back and forth there on the middle, which is very normal. They're just fishing for a mistake by their opponent, a wrong move. And then with that wrong move, they're going to try to surround them and get some leverage on the middle. In this phase in the game, it's all about movement. It's a numbers game. If your opponent makes a wrong move, you kill some units and get an advantage, as long as you do not lose the same amount of units yourself, of course. It's all about movement and getting an advantage on the map. Kind of like this, what Freyja is trying to do. He's building cannons around the corner. He's going to expand those cannons towards the entrance there to block K out of the map and turn the map into a 3 versus 2. But we got the same thing going on here from Dead S. He's building cannons behind the wall. It's going to slowly expand towards the middle, or just use it as a choke point, which is also possible to protect his choke with cannons, or to fire from across the high ground, which is also possible, to make it harder for the ROM to enter the middle. 2 options there: either shoot across the high ground or build around the corner. Kind of like this, what Freyja is doing right there. And we can see that K entered the middle. Freyja has to protect this, which gives this team a small amount of time to try and get an advantage somehow before the entrance is completely walled off. Here we can see that Doromi is trying to do the exact same thing by building cannons in his own choke point to make sure that the enemy cannot wall him in. So he's building preemptive cannons to protect himself from getting walled in like this. And you can see that S is fighting back against it. Likewise here on the middle we have a huge fight going on of red versus blue, where blue, if I'm looking at supply counts, blue seems to be, I think it's all equal at the moment. But it does look like S is winning against Doromi and taking control over this section, which means that on the bottom side, we have Team Dead getting control over Doromi's choke point, but on the northern side, we have Freyja getting control over K's choke point. So 2 players, 1 from each team, is blocked out of entering the middle, which means they're going to have to invest more into gas. You can see double gas, and a third one. They're going to go for, I assume, robos. Both players have robos on the way. We're going to see robot on the top corner. We're going to support. We finish up there for K. K got blocked a little bit earlier than the ROM did, which means that K could adjust a little bit faster than the ROM by going for his robo a little bit earlier than the ROM. The ROM was still trying to prevent the block, whereas K just gave up on preventing the block and immediately went for the technology. Likewise, because we have cannons on the middle, the role of Zerglings for both Zergs has reduced. Now, it's at this point better for them to drone up and grow bigger after the enemies have been sealed away into their corners, and the enemy can no longer attack the Zerg, and the Zerglings can likewise no longer really do that much. So yeah, they're switching away from Zerglings, now droning up. They did build a lot of Zerglings, but not nearly as many as you can often see happen in the situations. Very good blocks there from both of the Protoss players. The players who went for the block have delayed their gas. They're largely going to focus on defending against the incoming drops from the other Protoss player that got blocked. So the blocked Protoss player is going to go for drops, and the not blocked Protoss player is going to try to prevent the drop from the enemy from doing any real damage, while also having to protect their own Zerg that did not... that's kind of exposed. Like, the Zergs are at this point in the game the weakest players on the map. They're catching up with their drones, but their armies are kind of weak. It's all Zerglings. Zerglings are not that strong. So they're trying to protect the Zerg. He's going to try to expand downwards with his cannons to prevent these cannons from blocking him. So it's still a cannon game. These cannons are expanding towards the choke point of 311. We got a shuttle there. Oh, no, goes a little bit too close to the cannon. Going to walk in. He's got the Dragoons there to snipe the shuttle. Likewise, we have Zealots there from Doromi being shuttled over to try and help him out in case something happens. So Zealot's going there. He's also building an own choke. He's building the choke in his own... he's building the cannons here to make sure that after shuttling all these units out, that the enemy does not attack him. Because when you shuttle all your units out, you of course become weaker in your own base, because all your units can no longer help you defend. Like was dropped there from K, going on to Doromi. Doromi was a little bit too slow with making his own Dragoons. He was focusing on shuttling units out, whereas K, who got his robotics much earlier, is focused on, doing damage against probes, and it worked. He is down to 13. Great success. Dark Templar's not doing anything at all. We have a high temp. He went for a Templar drop instead of going for the Reaver drop. I'm going to try to storm that one to death with the storm. As soon as it finishes up, it's still being researched. Almost there. Flies through a cannon, survives with 7 HP. Now going towards 311's base to try and hurt him, but the hybrids have spawned, and they are going to snipe. Not snipe. Oh wait, this 3... Oh, he was focused on the other shuttle. Alright, I get it now. So we have Hylas from GS breaking down this cannon wall that was meant... Oh, he's not killing it. Okay, he kills it eventually. So we have GS taking out a cannon that Freyja was trying to build to protect him. Drop comes in onto Freyja. Double storm. This one has energy but misses both storms. Freyja has a lucky break. Dragoons are there on the middle of the map and in the base to help him protect. Drop there from the ROM going for K. And Freyja, actually, because he saw no choke point there, it was a choke point. What is happening? He's attacking in, did some damage, but not enough damage. Likewise, we have an attack there onto 311, but 311 is going to survive this attack because he does have a great configuration. Wall and drop there comes in onto K. Templar unloads. He only lost some probes to the Zealot attack just earlier and loses another couple of them there. I think he lost another 9. So he's down to 23. That hurt him quite a little bit. Not as bad as the ROM got hurt by the drop from K earlier. And it does look like 311 is pushing back with some help from Freyja to make sure that he doesn't die against the Hylotisks and Dragoons from S and GS. GS has cannons there on the wall. Oh, a very nice Dragoon configuration. There's still a way for his opponent to fly around right through here. He's got a vision across the high ground there with the Overlords. He sees the Dragoons because of the vision of the Overlords, in the vision of the shield as well, so he's going to try to fly around and go elsewhere, but he might fly into these highlights by accident. No, turns around just in time. Very quick reaction. Units there from Freyja, ready to help out. Actually using the storms to help his ally survive. Well, it uses one storm to soften up some of these units, and then flies right over the top side. Going to try to drop K yet again. K actually once again lost more economy. Now he's down to 16. He got dropped while we were busy, or while I was busy looking here. More Templars arriving on the scene, helping him defend. Unloads one. Goes in for the drop. There's no Dragoons here to defend. I mean, there's two, but it's not going to do the trick. Starts the storm, misses the storm. That's the downside of having only one Templar in there. 311 is still under heavy siege from his opponents. Slowly S is building cannons to block this off and keep Freyja out of his allies' base. It looks like 311 might die here. Doesn't really have that much to defend himself with. Another drop there onto... Drop once again misses. The probes narrowly avoid the drop. It was a very close call there. We got largely just gateways there from Freyja. Freyja stopped making cannons. Well, he's making cannons, but not as many as his opponent S is making. Gonna get lurkers there in that choke point. He's just pushing forward and pushing forward and pushing forward. He's making a lot of Hydralisks here, but it's just not working out. His Hydralisks are dying faster than he can make them. The Templars on the scene there from S as well. S is doing a great job. Team Dead is doing a really good job of putting the pressure down on their opponents. What keeps going down there from Freyja? He's in 66 probes now. Double Nexus. We have double Nexus there from Doromi, but it's still warping. And we got double Nexus. No, single Nexus there from S on 54 probes. Looking in pretty good shape. 39 drones there from Teal, the GS guy, who just keeps on sending. Oh, we have lurkers, but we have Overlord as well. I think 311's days are numbered. He's probably gonna fall right here, right now. Reinforcements are just not gonna be coming in. We do have some shuttles from Doromi flying units over, but those units are really not helping out that much. They're buying in some time, giving the Sun God some time to shoot, helping with the Templars storming on the Dragoons, but he also has to keep on dropping with this same shuttle. So while he's helping his ally defend, he is not, in fact, storm dropping, but it looks like I was wrong. It looks like 311 does survive. He's in 68 drones. He's been droning up very, very hard. Now it's time to start making Hydralisks. It's time to make units. Although his gas is very low. His gas is very, very low. I must admit that one. So Freyja is trying to dislodge this control that Team Dead has over this choke point, but not really working out because reinforcements coming in. We got lurkers. We do not have observers, but we do have overlords from 311 coming out to help him. Oh, wait. Oh, Dark Templars at the bottom. Being a pain. Drop there, going over the bottom. Going to try to fly in and hit those drones. Actually, no, he's going to go for Doromi. He's going to hit Doromi yet again. Dragoons are in the wrong position. Flies in. Broke's running the safety. He's got two High Templars in there. One over there, the other over there. And he actually hits him really, really hard. 11 kills on that one, and yet I think about the same amount on the other one, so he's down to 22 now. That hurt him really badly. But now because 311 has survived, and because Freyja has a large army, and because they know that Dead has taken a lot of damage from the drops just earlier and has almost no mass, they are now deciding to counterattack him. Drop comes in from the ROM on to S. Templar reloads. Templar doesn't storm, it dies too quick, but looks like we have a dead player on the map because K is taking critical amounts of damage. And his allies cannot really help him out that well. GS built a lot of drones to catch up on 311, but it looks like Dead K is gonna be dead very soon. Look at this. He's just getting overpowered, overwhelmed. We got a storm there from a High Templar walking in, getting 26 kills. He is dead. He's done for. So now, Team Dead is going to have to kill either 311 or Freyja. Freyja has cannons but helping him defend himself, has a pretty big army, a lot of production. He's got, oh, we got dropped right now, just now, by Dead K, he's down to 15. That is actually the exact thing that Team Dead needs. They need a very poor Doromi and a very poor Freyja in order to kill 311, because 311 cannot defend himself all by himself. He needs help from his allies, but his allies having no money left in the bank, no gas in the tank, are not really going to do that much in trying to provide support. Great storms there though, with more Hydralisks coming in. With 64 drones, GS has a lot of Hydralisk production Let me just quickly count the amount of hatcheries. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's an 8 hatcheries, and I'm gonna add 2 more. You might wonder why the Zergs are not that massive yet. It's just that they really prioritize that early control with the Zerglings, which slows down their growth a lot. I'd say by about 3 minutes in total, maybe 4. Yeah, I'd say 3 or 4 minutes. And after that, it's all about high tempo mass production of units to attack. Not so much attention or focus on growing bigger. It's all about keeping up the pace and playing fast. Yeah, 311 is just in terrible shape. He's not able to spend his money that well because he keeps losing his production facilities. He keeps being bottlenecked by not having enough hatcheries to spend his money. So he's building a lot of hatcheries on the top side, but it might be too late, or it might actually not be too late, because Freyja is pushing in on GS with his large army, although his army cannot be reinforced because the economy is dead and gone. Drop comes in there from... oh, it's an empty shuttle. A lot of shuttles and courses there from Doromi in his main base. Got a Stargate right there. He's recovering. He's recovering from the drops that happened to him earlier. Oh, it looks like Team Dead calls to GG. They do not believe they can do it. And you know why they believe they can do it? They failed to kill 311. They cleaned up his entire army. Deadass lost some of his probes, I believe, to a drop. Let me just really quickly rewind. And GS alone cannot kill anyone. He is big, but not big enough to overwhelm with his Hydralisk force. A lot was happening that game. A lot was happening that game. As you can see, S is on 34, so we lost probes. He did lose probes, so he can no longer really produce and contribute that much after he loses this army that is already in 311's base. After this army's gone, it's going to be difficult for him to rebuild that army. It's all about the numbers. The numbers. Because you want to have efficient trades, or if you have a lot of money, just throw whatever units you have at the opponent and hope that at some point you snowball into a win. If you have a lot of probes, you can be inefficient. But if your probe count is low and your income is low, you have to be very efficient. Very, very efficient. Yeah, I think they're just going to call GG because he's on 37 and the opponents are on average on more workers. Specifically 311 having survived the attack with the help of Doromi with the Reaver Shuttle Micro and having all those hatches on the top spawning. It's just going to make him explode onto the map with a lot of production. And he already has pretty good upgrades there. He's got 0-1, level 2 on the way. Then he has 1, 2, 6, another 5, 11 hatcheries. And Freyja is in the process of recovering with his triple nexus. Doesn't have a lot of vision here on the top side, but he did enough. He killed K. And with K being gone, the 2 versus 3 is very difficult to play. Specifically because S went for cannons and mass gateway. So the player going for drops, which is essential, is out of the game. Whereas the other team, Team Doromi, still has the player that went for drop technology. So they can still threaten the economy. Whereas this team from Dead can no longer threaten the economy, which really drastically reduces their chances of ever standing a chance, of having a chance at winning the game, because they don't have a chance. I tried to say chance as many times as I could. Anyway, that was the game. That was the game. Doromi, 311, and Freyja take home the victory against Team Dead. And I have to admit, at some points I thought Team Dead had the victory in the bag. But K got demolished, his economy was dead and gone, and they could no longer hold on.